know.
Screen actually says going up.
Yes. It's relative. It's relatively simple.
Actually, the services
Do you know when your next finance committee meeting is off the top of your head?
No.
Okay.
It's June. When's our next finance committee? When's our
Center,
next-
7 o'clock?
So next month.
My kid FaceTiming me from her kind.
So
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Megan Clark,
Here.
Tom Cook. Here. Stephen Kaufman,
Here.
Holly Marinich,
here,
Gary Meehan,
Here.
Joyce Misnick.
here.
Additions or corrections to the agenda? The only one I have in here after council rules were passed last session, we've got visitor comments that'll go in between bills for review and executive session.
Is it enacted yet?
Yes.
I thought it
Next
was.
meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Not till,
Next meeting. Thank you. All right. Other than that, review and approval of minutes of the April 7th, 2026 work session and regular council meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to split this and approve work session of April 7th. I move that we approve just the work session of April 7th.
Thank you. So,
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Megan Clark.
Yeah.
Tom Cook,
Yes.
Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Holly Marinich,
Yes.
Gary Meehan,
yes.
Joyce Misnick.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, concerning the council meeting of April 7th, on page 2, under resolution 2026-0402R, I'd like to request that we change $20 to $20,000.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? And roll call.
Megan Clark,
Yes.
Tom Cook,
Yes.
Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Holly Marinich,
Yes.
Gary Meehan,
Yes.
Joyce Misnick.
Yes.
I move that we approve the minutes of council meeting of April 7th, 2026.
Amended.
Amended. Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? And roll call.
Megan Clark,
Yes.
Tom Cook,
Yes.
Stephen Kaufman,
Yes.
Holly Marinich,
Yes.
Gary Meehan,
Yes.
Joyce Misnick.
Yes.
All right, visitor comments. Okay. Administrative reports, no mayor's report this month, or this meeting. Treasurer's report,
So you should have your February packet in there. My goal is to have at the first May meeting, the April one, or the March one done, so that we're at least getting close to caught up. And then the second May meeting to have the April one. And at that point, we should be on to at the end of the month, having the reconciliations done and caught up. That's the goal. Other than that, the auditors will be here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. You can email me. I'll be in the office Wednesdays and Fridays. Just let me know if you need anything. That's all.
Yes. So to approve tree.
I so moved.
Thank you. Second.
Any discussion? And roll call.
Megan Clark,
Yes.
Bob Cook,
Yes.
Stephen Coughlin,
Yes.
Holly Marion,
Yes.
Gary Meehan,
Yes.
Joyce Minuteman.
Yes.
All right. Administrators report?
Submitting your packets pending any questions?
Good question. On the first line there, it says, sent to Public Works Committee for ideas and plans. What was sent to Public Works Committee?
Sorry, Gary, what
The road.
Oh, the road.
The road.
you guys had for road projects that you guys wanted to see come back from Public Works?
And, this is the second time the speed camera's been here, I think with technical issues. What's the prognosis?
That's the same thing I was gonna ask.
So Chief's working with SiteStream right now on that. The camera has had technical issues with reading plates. It's coming quite blurry, which is making it a little difficult for Chief to properly identify license plates. So we're having a lot of rejections. They're taking the camera back to evaluate it, reprogram it to bring it back in and see if it makes a bit of difference in his ability to read them. So they said that that will be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
The other thing that he mentioned to me was that when it was capturing, it wasn't capturing speed correctly. So we were, losing 400% of what was being cited or something like that, Mark?
Correct.
So the recalibration of the unit itself as well.
So 2 or 3 weeks from when?
That was on Friday that Chief spoke to me about that issue.
Thanks.
No problem.
And just so council knows, the court and myself, the court administrator, Ms. Mahalik, and myself have uploaded and completed training on the software. It's a separate website I have to access to prosecute all the cases separately for speed cameras. So we received training on that as well.
While we're on the administrator's report, is there anything on here, since we've had a couple of reports that council would like to see as far as detail to whatever, anything of that nature?
Yes. It would be very helpful to have a little more detail on it. Okay, I don't know how to define detail because each of the categories here is unique in its own right. So like the one we just talked about, okay, instead of just saying technical issues, it could have had a couple bullet points under it stating what those were and maybe a date, okay? But I don't need a whole attachment and definition of a project that's being done, that's been presented to us separately. As a matter of fact, this should be could have easily been part of the report that we got that gave all the projects for it. Okay, so to be honest, Dwayne, yes, something between what it used to be and what it is now.
It is cleaned up a lot, so that
Yes.
there's not a lot of repetition and you're dropping things off, which is great.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
nothing in between.
Sound good, Mark?
I will attempt to do it better again.
Thank you, sir. All right.
While we're on that, should we be talking about what's here? Or are these related to something else?
Related to,
The stuff that was laying on.
okay, so the projects, Mark, do you wanna,
So the sheet that I gave you was an update from the village engineer. So that's just a breakdown of where they're at with their funding projects for the village. I just try to get that every month now. They were sending it quarterly to a little over quarterly. I've asked our engineer to make sure that we get something like this every month just so that council can be aware of what's going on a more regular basis.
This is great.
Awesome, this is great. This is really good, Mark. Good job.
And it says what actions required, which is even more so.
As Mark has sent out regarding the Yost grant, everything looks great. Good work in putting everything together and whatnot, so. Hopefully that'll go to that next step.
Oh, Dave Joyce appropriations? Yeah, so if you want me to just talk about that real quick. So on Saturday, we were notified, so Dave Joyce, office in Congress has appropriations every year that you could put funding in for. The village has attempted to have its water tower project put into those appropriations since 2024. First started by Sally Fell in 24, then 25 by Lucas Darling, and then 26, I submitted with attachments trying to recruit Rock Creek, Morgan, and Rome into that project for support. And Saturday, we were notified that we were awarded to the next stage, which is those appropriations going to committee for approval. And if that passes that stage and then goes to the president's desk, once signed off, the village will receive $2 million towards that water tower project of appropriations that the village won't have to pay for.
Federal money.
Correct.
Sounds outstanding.
Once that is granted, it's ours, correct? I mean, it's now appropriated. They can't pull it back for any.
As long as it goes through the appropriation committee and then it's signed off, it will be ours. Now, our project, it's going to start with engineering, which is the phase we're moving into now. And then after engineering, it goes to construction. And once it hits construction, it's finalized, a year later is when we would pay on it. But with us having the funds earlier than that, it shouldn't be an issue. But total cost of that water tower project with, in higher end estimate was about 400 to 700,000 more than that 2 million. But talking with the engineers, they believe with different things that we're doing and how they're seeing costs of supplies, we should hit that 2 million mark and not owe anything. So they're excited for that.
So I think the rest of the question was, when it's when it's finally approved, how long do we wait for the money?
I would have to look into that further. Yeah, I'm still waiting on an email to say congratulations, it's been moved. But if you go to the Dave Joyce's website, our project has been in the 20 selected through his office. So that is all the information I have right now. I don't want to say any more than that to give the wrong information.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead, solicitor's report.
Nothing in this question. It's on the agenda.
Police chief's report. Was in our packet. Any questions for Ed while he's here? All right, hearing none, we'll go to our committees, commission reports, finance committee.
The next meeting will be 5/19/26 at 7 p.m. 6 p.m.
Sorry.
Public works,
Next meeting, 5/1/26, 5 p.m.
planning commission,
Planning Commission meets tomorrow at 4/22/26 at 7 p.m.
and records.
Has not met yet for 26.
A special committee liaison, RRA.
Just a reminder that the membership meeting is here in this building on Saturday at 10 a.m.
Mark, were you able to find anything out with Buhner, Sean?
Yeah, he said I have to reach out to the building commission for the county. I'll be doing that tomorrow during their work hours to try to find out a guaranteed number.
Okay, so Holly, if you, Patrick Kearns being a retired fire chief, question the occupancy limit here.
Okay.
So we may need to be cognizant of that, knowing that typically the annual meeting fills up the clubhouse. So.
So one person per household. What do we do?
I don't have an answer for that, other than,
Open the windows, let them sit outside.
You know,
Because everybody's not in at the same
I
time.
know, it's what they don't have I was wondering if they checked it before the unit number. Never
This
mind.
is an exception to the rule, there
Right.
are other guidelines that
Right,
this place
okay,
doesn't meet, so
Yeah,
we
all right.
kind of let that go.
all right, yeah, okay.
All right, I'll plan to stand outside. Got it.
so, I know they mentioned something, was it yesterday or today, Mark, about not using the recording or airing it. I don't know if we want to make that a possibility for them. Mark put it out there, and I don't remember who responded to you.
Wendy,
Thank you.
Well, they said they were going to use it, and then today they said they're not, so. If it gets really full, maybe we should just force the issue.
Okay.
I don't know what else to do.
Does this go into our small conference room? Okay, does this show?
No.
No, it
it can be brought up.
can be brought
Okay,
up.
oh
there.
yeah, I suppose by the
You
end.
just pull it up on YouTube.
Yeah, so it could give us another 20, well, that's 20 more people.
I bet that room will hold 20. I mean, it might physically, but I bet it's not allowed to.
That would be the question.
Yeah, and then you've got X number of people in the bathroom.
So, you did mention that if the doors were left open, the foyer would be part of that area to accommodate a few more people, but,
Then that becomes an
So,
issue too, because
Bring,
you gotta have.
bring yourself a
egress.
phone.
you gotta have egress. That's right.
And bathroom access.
So,
There usually
So I'll
is.
be here to be a traffic cop. Along with the police. And when will we know the number?
Hopefully I'll have that information tomorrow.
Okay,
thanks,
well, let
Mark.
me know, I'll talk to Bob.
Sounds good.
SCAD. No report from Ed. All right, legislation, ordinance 2026-04-04, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a motor vehicle for the village of Rolling Shores, Ashtabula County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Requested by Mark. So it's first reading.
I'd just like to hear more. Are we gonna get rid of some other vehicle? I'm concerned we still regularly look, maybe like we're a used car lot
Yeah, so
and
I'm sorry.
protection and all of that stuff.
My apologies. I didn't mean to walk on you. Last meeting or the meeting before, we put up the surplus equipment for sale. We had a 2014, I believe, Silverado that we put on that list to sell, 2011, 2014. It had frame damage, so we are getting rid of that vehicle, and then this will be replacing that. Currently, the only vehicles we have in the fleet, we purchased a less expensive Colorado last year for fuel efficiency to go to do water turn-ons, offs, and small projects. And then we have our plow truck, which is heavy duty and is also diesel, which we do not have diesel at the site, so it has to be purchased other locations. And then we have a crane truck, which is a 2014. Previously, we looked at the possibility, because we appropriated $100,000 towards vehicles, about purchasing a new crane truck due to that one becoming a little old and breaking down. Fortunately, last year we put about $6,000 into the crane truck, able to get it running well. We're hoping to get a few more years out of that. So with this truck coming in, it puts us right back to where we've been for the last few years with vehicles, and also removes all excess vehicles down at the plant.
So why can't we use the vehicles that we have now?
We are.
We are.
So another concern that was brought up was the need for a CDL with pulling the equipment that we currently have. We were sending our employees to classes for that. Dwayne came into office. He was working on a project prior to leaving the village in the past about possibly finding a vehicle that can pull the trailer under the correct guidelines without needing that CDL. He has worked with me and he's kind of taken the reins on finding a vehicle that would work because he looked into it in the past. So he was able to find this vehicle with standards that could potentially save the village from needing to send its employees for full CDL training.
Which you'd have to pay for the CDL, so, correct, right? We would have to pay for the CDL, so it helps us so we don't have
Correct.
to
Correct.
pay for the CDL license.
I have two questions on the vehicle itself. First of all, what's the towing capacity of this particular vehicle? I don't see it anywhere on here.
18,200.
18,200.
Well,
Yeah, I'm just trying to picture a 3/4 ton truck with that kind of capacity, and it says cloth seats. Do you really want cloth seats in this kind of vehicle?
So just to touch on your first question, Gary, operationally, the reason that this truck was being presented was Dwayne had reached out to the service contractor and was able to work on what we would need for that equipment pulling without the CDL. They were able to potentially upgrade. This will be a custom built truck for the shores. They're going to increase the rear end and then also upgrade the motor to be able to pull that equipment.
Yeah, I see you got the 7.3 V8 engine,
Correct.
so.
So that's what really changes it, is those two key components were what made it possible to use this vehicle for pulling our 14,000 pound trailer. Dwayne, did you want to speak on it anymore? I didn't want to
Nope.
overspeak, so, okay.
Gary, if you're concerned about the cloth seats, then we can get covers for them, seat covers.
I'm just thinking that, wear and tear guys getting in and out of the truck and they're getting muddy and dirty and vinyl is so much easier to clean.
It's a great question. I believe the truck, and we'd have to do some double checking. The Dodge also has cloth seats. I'm not sure what the Colorado has, but it may be a standard option that comes with this. But if vinyl is something that we want to look at,
I'm just,
yeah, it's a good question.
How much is it gonna be to upgrade the motor, did you say?
It's on there.
it's on
The motor upgrade with everything was an additional
15.
almost 4,700 because of
Oh,
the
right
top
here.
piece. Yeah, there's two different codes on there that equate to the motor, the first one and the last one. And what we're looking to do is, as we're spending this 49.5 on this truck, we're looking to also add a plow to it down the road, not current, because we want to do it in-house. We'll add a plow, so we'll have two plow trucks to use for the village. And we will also be adding on other features as we see fit for that truck. But we wanted to make sure we got what we needed regulatory-wise first from the dealership.
And this is within the budget, right? Wasn't you
Yes.
put 100,000
We
aside?
put 100 aside,
then-
50% was from sewer, 50% from water. And what we're looking to do, I mentioned it last year to the finance committee, what I'd like to see, and I'm working with Kevin on, is that additional 50,000 that we have, I would like to set up a separate fund for that and leave it in it. And then every year, put 10,000 from sewer, water, and roads into that fund, so that within 4 years, if we need to replace that crane truck, which is right now sitting at 120 to 140,000, we would be able to afford that when we need to replace it.
So you're currently allocating the budget 50% sewer, 50% water. Therefore, you can't use it for plow. If that would be 100% plow, the plow.
No, you
cost-
could still use it for plowing.
Absolutely.
I would think
Wouldn't that be a road?
technically you could use it for plowing the plant
Right. But not
or
the
plowing
streets.
around on a work site. But for plowing the roads, I think technically you could or should.
Plus, we
But
have
that's a
more money
question
in the
for a
road.
solicitor.
Plus, we have more money in the road fund than discretionable money over there than we have in the water and sewer. Why wouldn't you at least do it the same way we do our employees?
They're pretty much all appropriated to the max already, water, sewer, and roads, because we take a good amount of roads for the laborer positions. So this is the best route because we already have the money allocated.
Brings up a question. We'll work with Kevin to see if it's worthwhile maybe doing 40, 40, 20 and break it out that way.
Sure.
Just to entertain it and see what's gonna be the best bet overall.
Well, and when we buy the plow, it could come from roads.
Right.
And the driver's gonna be in roads. So I mean, they can work on that.
It's really, it comes down to the same aspect of when the skid steer and the Mini X was purchased. Most of the funds came out of roads for those when they were purchased, and a portion did come out of water and sewer for both of those as well. So definitely worth entertaining the aspect of all three funds to be looked at.
I'm just looking at it and thinking, why wouldn't we just pull some money from the roads and get the plow press package and plow on it right now? Rather than have to send
I
it
don't know if
back.
that money's there though. They have to see if that money's there. This is awesome though. It's good to put money, that's
Yeah.
smart to do that for the future, to put money away. So just in case if something does break down,
Right.
we have the money in the funds. That's great thinking for the future. All right, good job.
Just because we have a budget doesn't mean that we can't move things around. That's our job.
Correct.
So if Kevin and Mark could look at that, I think it would be a great idea.
Especially since once we do put a plow on it, transmissions are terrible when you start snow plowing. And the cost of transmissions are gonna be, we could blow a transmission in a season.
Yeah, a big thought on this, and I understand your concern. Last year, our plow truck went down for a few weeks, and we had to rely on the RRA's partnership to back us up, and we've been blessed that they've worked with us so well. I would like to just have a backup option so that we could take care of our own roads instead of leaning on the RRA as much as we have.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience that a heavy duty 3/4 ton like this will do all our road plowing without any trouble.
Any other discussion?
You're looking for this to be voted on today?
No,
Okay.
Why is it an emergency? Does it need to be an emergency?
well, we'd like to potentially get it as soon as possible, but I'm not going to try to press council into making a decision tonight if you need time to think about it.
Can we just do the 3 reading rule on this one? Or does it need to be an emergency?
So to clarify,
No. If you waive your 3 readings, you're telling everybody you want to do it now. So don't waive your 3
Yeah,
readings.
so it doesn't need to be an emergency.
But it can
Okay.
be an emergency because when you eventually pass it, if you do, it'll take effect immediately. You don't have to
Okay.
wait 30 additional days. So, yeah, just move it to a second reading.
Why we have time for it is, like I said, this truck is gonna be made for Roman Shores. It's not sitting on a lot waiting that could be purchased from someone else.
and that's a 6-week lead time. So
Put a deposit down.
we haven't got to that point yet. So once we get through some of our process, then we'll look at it.
Kevin, when you bring it back to us, can you get rid of the word not in section 4?
No, it's gonna get made for us.
Right.
Whoever, just when it comes back
That's
to
the
the
biggest
second
they make.
meeting.
That's
Moving
gas, yeah.
Because up
If you
here
go
it's
to diesel.
declaring it non-motorized.
It's irrelevant, but important.
Dwayne, I asked why, for a bigger engine, why wouldn't you, if we went to diesel? And he said it's because it would be CDL, right?
Yeah, as soon as you go to the diesel, it pushes it over the 10,000 TBWR, which
Okay.
then
Yeah.
causes
Perfect,
the
thanks.
CDL.
And we don't have diesel fuel that I know of sitting.
I I don't have an answer to it. That's just what I was told, that the changes to GVWR.
Well, it might change the GVWR, but the standard for a CDL license is like 26,000 pounds.
26,001.
26,001.
Right, that's what I'm saying, so it's not gonna, the diesel engine's not gonna run that into
It will.
anywhere near 26,000 pounds.
It does, Gary.
It
We've
pushes
looked
it to
into it.
about 29,000 on the smallest size diesel. So, going by the schematics of what Ford is entertaining.
And we would need a diesel, fuel, a location, a fence, a tank.
So currently our Dodge is diesel. And the thing is, every time they go to plow, they have to go to Austinburg or up to Route 6 to refuel. So we're trying to move away from using diesel as much as we can.
I
Is there a
support
place on Sixth that you get these?
Yes.
This is gonna be used as.
Wouldn't it be easier to get a diesel tank down there? Because your skid steer's diesel, right? Your track hose diesel.
Yes, which we use the
This is not,
generator
this
that's
is
at
not.
the
It's just a backup.
as a fuel storage tank for off-road diesel, which all of that runs off of off-road diesel
Mhm.
instead of having a tank for just road diesel. It's something that we can look at, but at that point, you're looking at a dual tank for spill containment or a single wall tank with a containment area.
I know we have one in the bus garage, so.
Ed,
Something else nobody else mentioned is that diesel engine would add at least $8,000 to $10,000 to the cost of the truck.
absolutely. Absolutely.
There's the answer.
Thanks, guys.
But these trucks are gonna be sitting and idling a long time. Diesel's gonna hold up better on the idle time.
Gary, if we go to diesel, we'll have to get a CDL.
Well, they changed some laws since I was testing out for that stuff.
Any other questions on it? Hearing none, we'll go to the next ordinance, 2026-04-05, an ordinance authorizing a temporary shift differential for the Village of Rolling Shores Police Department and declaring an emergency. It's in its first reading.
Anybody have an opinion about this?
Can I say my opinion? I think we should, because is he saying full-time too? Is it saying part-time and full-time?
Part and full, yeah.
Okay, so full-time, I think, do they work every other weekend anyways, initiated? Because I know as a nurse, I'm full-time and I have to work every other weekend anyways. And then I believe that part-timers should get, yes, make an initiative that if they do come in, they get time, they get paid. Because that will initiate part-time people to come into work. Full-timers, they should be working every other weekend.
I did have the conversation with the chief on this subject because when I saw this, I was rightly concerned. We spent about a half hour talking about it, looking at numbers. A couple of things. First of all, you should know that we only have one full-time employee besides the chief. That is Sarge. Okay, we have need for and position for more, but we've been unable, no matter what we've done.
So let me stop you there. What has he done to recruit people?
Oh, it's not
Did
part
he-
of this conversation right now, but we can talk about that.
We can talk.
Yeah, we can give you a full.
Okay.
So I can finish the focus on
Go ahead.
this. If you would. Okay, so we have one full-time sergeant, and he and the police chief have been dealing with this weekend shifts because part-timers are offered the opportunity, but you can't force them to pick them up. He posts this during the month, and then they sign up, and then the shifts that aren't being done in the summer, he has a harder time. So we agree, get a part-time pay differential makes some sense. However, what we didn't see coming was that this $5 differential puts them ahead of the pay that we're paying Sarge. So we're now forcing Sarge to come in on a weekend for less money than the other people coming in on weekends. and the police, and the police chief didn't feel that that was the right move. Okay, it's hard enough to get people to work, and then we're now making our full-timer, who could easily ask us to be a part-timer, okay, and make more. So it's,
Part of it is though that the full-time officer's got a whole lot of benefits that the part-timer doesn't get.
and a whole
So-
lot more responsibilities. Okay? It's really hard to have people below you on shift differential making more money.
It does happen though.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
If you,
Well,
you
we've
want
had
bodies.
such a hard time finding officers and keeping them. And the full-time has eluded us for a long time. I mean, I'm talking about at least 4 years. maybe
Four
more.
plus years, yes.
So I think we have to consider doing everything we can. I don't think that the climate for hiring people is going to change in the next 4 years. I think this could be a lifetime occurrence. So we really need to think about how to bring people to work.
What about job fairs, newspapers?
The police, Will has done a great job trying to get people. We've modified our approaches. You got to recognize that we as a community here are vying for the same police officers at Orwell, Jefferson, Andover. I mean, we can go on. There's a few, Geneva. They're all out there trying to get the same police officers, and there just aren't enough of them.
Enrollment in training has gone down. And it's not very interesting being a police officer here for someone who is young and wanting to carry a gun and the bullets too, and make sure that they're out there all the time fighting crime. So,
And yes,
I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but that's really the bottom line. The younger people have left.
Can I be honest, since I represent 4 municipalities and deal with officers all day long, their pay has not increased at the speed of other regular businesses, like say a Chipotle, a McDonald's manager. You know what I mean? They have specialized training more and more every year for new things, and have to go to those, get the specialized training, don't get an additional stipend or pay for that. So just take it from my perspective that if I'm prosecuting, I have worn out guys who are coming to subpoenaed for hearings, working all night shifts and coming for subpoenas in the morning. You know what I mean? They don't just work their shift and they're done with it all of a sudden. Their cases extend for 6 months to a year, depending on when the prosecutions are done. So if you look at your chief's report in your small community, there's a lot happening still, even in a small community. And not everything is just a small traffic ticket. There's domestic violences. There's calls where they're called out from your community to help other communities locally.
and I just want to,
I just give
yes,
my
no,
perspective.
that's a great perspective.
Prosecuting.
Appreciate that. And I got to point out one last thing in conversation. Okay? It's within his budget. Remember, he controls, he manages, it's still under us, but he manages the money that's available to him very well. And if he feels this is strong, this is important during the summer hours when our residents need more policing, when we have a swell of additional people in our community, we have more activities outdoors and things like that. He feels it's important to make sure we have our weekend shifts covered and not relying upon, see, I got him upset.
No.
I know. And not relying upon the sheriff's department. Not saying that they don't do a good job, we just would like to control our own destiny here.
If I can too, and I don't want to talk overly for Chief. I know he'll be back soon to talk on this whole subject, but with the conversations with him, when I started in August of 24, we were paying our full-time and part-time officers $21 an hour. Luckily, with Chief working on things and council approving it, we've now bumped it to 26 and some change. if you go any municipality that's local, you're starting at $32 to $38 an hour. So the officers that are coming out of the academy and everything don't want to come here, especially being very rural. If you look at the financial portion, which Stephen mentioned as a whole, we're slotted for another full-time officer, which is between 55 and 70,000 with benefits. By doing this, it's going to cost the village 12,000 roughly with overtime costs. So it saves the village a lot of money as well.
And we haven't had anybody for the whole January, February, March, April.
We don't have to vote on this tonight, but he would like us in our next meeting to be prepared to discuss it and vote on it at that point in time.
And the only thing he asked, if you look at his correspondence, was that if you do pass it, that you declare it the emergency, so it takes effect a little bit quicker when you do it. But he didn't have an opposition, it looked like, to taking some readings to think about it and discuss.
Should we take a shot at passing it now and getting it underway?
I would like to, I mean, this is my opinion, I would like Chief to come here and actually kind of voice his side of it, to kind of give everybody that ability to understand where he's coming from.
But then our next meeting is after he wants this to take effect.
Yeah,
Will it be retro action?
well, he wants to do it for the people this summer.
Right. And he says he wants it to take effect the 1st of May.
We can modify the effective date if necessary, but it's gonna have to be.
Well,
I mean, to answer your question, Holly, on a procedural standpoint, any council member can call for a motion on what you.
And it could
Prefer-
pass.
I was just trying to get the nod of the heads for,
Yeah.
are you crazy?
I've always supported the chief in his efforts to keep our village safe.
Of
Right.
course,
And
yeah.
I don't see anything in this that would stop it from my vote. I'll just say that.
Whatever we can do to bring more, to make more, like make people want to, police officers want to come here, want to serve our village. There's got to, if it's not working now, we've got to change something to make it work.
May 1st and May 5th. May 1st is a Friday and May 5th is a Tuesday. Also Cinco de Mayo, of course, but,
And our meeting is
And our
on the
meeting is
following
6th,
Wednesday
yeah.
because it's also election day.
right. So that's
I
partly
move that
why
we
I'm
call,
reading.
I move we call for a vote.
I'll
I-
second that.
Thank you. For 3 readings, yeah. Well, then we can pass it later.
No, you're moving.
I move that we call the vote today and waive the 3 reading rule.
Do you mean just make,
That, does that be an emergency at this point? It'd be 30 days, take effect, would be perfect. Oh, okay, we'll do that next. I
Wait,
move that we waive the 3 reading rule.
That's the motion.
And you second it.
well, I,
We can talk about it.
should we change the date, amend it first and then
We can change it.
May
If
1st?
you're waiving the 3 reading rule, you're putting it on.
You're
the-
passing.
He's going
Oh,
to try
then
to
we'll
pass
do-
it tonight.
But
All
if
right,
you-
I'll second
that's-
waiving the 3
All right,
reading
so
rule.
now you give the roll call on the 3 readings only.
Any discussion, just so I don't forget. Finish it.
so we won't read this 3 times?
We won't need to if we pass it.
Okay.
You can vote, if there's a motion on the floor, then the council members can vote
So
whether to
we're-
move forward.
We're motioning to waive the 3 reading rule right now.
And not have him say anything or discuss us or let us talk about it, the questions that have,
This is, right now, it's just for the 3 reading rule.
You're in discussion right now.
Yeah,
If you
we're in
wanna keep
discussion.
talking about it.
And
But you're right, if we take action
if we
tonight,
take
then-
action tonight, then we can't think about it, sleep on it, it's done, it's passed. Is that what you're saying?
Not hearing a lot down there. Any thoughts?
I don't have a lot of background, so that's why I was actually looking forward to having
The
him
two
come and
full-timers, $5 an hour pay raise.
So
To work the
I
shift
don't
that you
have,
should be working
I mean,
already.
That's my
it
point.
makes
Well,
sense.
The goal is to move
Yeah.
Sarge
Wherever
to day
guys
shift.
are-
But it just feels
Pardon?
like,
Wait,
I'd like to hear him talk through what it
Right.
is, 'cause this is, I just don't have any background other than what's on this piece of paper.
well then vote
I'm
no.
about the same way. I'm concerned, that- I'm all for paying people to keep them here.
Yeah,
I mean,
Me
that's
too.
one of the things that we have to get in our heads, is we have to pay people enough money so they want to stay. Not that you,
This isn't for keeping people here, okay? This is purely to give a rate, a different, to give people, our existing part-timers, an incentive to work on the weekend. Right
and
now,
full-time
there's
though,
no-
right?
There is.
And full-time. If
Yes,
it was
but
just part-time, then I'd be like, yes, but
the full-timer has to work on the weekend,
And to attract new,
okay? He
Families.
has fixed weekend times already.
okay.
The part-timers sign up. And if they don't sign up, we don't have coverage,
or we have,
which means the full-timer then has to work. Sarge has worked consistently every weekend, okay, for the last year or two, because we haven't had enough coverage on weekends. Okay? It would,
So is this enough to remedy that?
you're offering a person $40 extra a shift, but he's gotta take shifts anyways.
We really need an extra body. We really need
we need an
another,
extra person.
yes, we really need another cop.
We need a full-timer.
But
We
that's
do.
not gonna solve anything right now. Okay? And he knows we need him. He's advertising, he's going through a number of,
The thing is, by
I know he said
increasing
he's gone
part-timers,
he's
yeah,
he's
you
gone
get
all
more
sorts of
part-timers.
times.
And then
Hey,
you'll have
I
more
don't,
coverage
I'll
all
pull
around
back my
rather than
motion
one
if you guys
full-timer.
feel that this is too fast. But you're gonna end up, we can't have we're not gonna have special meetings between now and then. Okay? So he's gonna do his shift for,
I know.
for the month of,
For 2 more
May,
weeks.
no, May, the whole shift of the month of May will not have
Monday
any,
through Friday.
More
shift.
weeks, and then we'll vote on it, and it'll be
I get
30
it.
days after that.
even if it was immediate after that, he still has to, yeah, right, before he can sign people up, so it's June before anybody's gonna be incentivized to work on the weekend.
I really need to talk to Sarge to see where he's gonna switch people if he does get this through. There's other stuff that he probably has to say, like, hey, if-
Sarge,
or not Sarge, sorry,
Yeah,
chief,
chief.
that, oh, I need to move people around, or this is what I had planned, or I was gonna recruit more part-time people to,
So he's really good at scheduling. He's really good at managing his budget. He's put a lot of thought into this already.
and that's why we're accountable. We're holding accountability. We're going through, we're seeing, if he was just good at his budget, we wouldn't have to say anything in it, right? He would just be like, okay.
No, you still have to pass it.
Exactly. So we still have a say. We still can look it over and hold accountability and be like, okay, these are the questions. This is what I need answered.
you have that, you certainly do have that right, yes. We all have that right.
He
Correct.
has given us a couple weeks
But-
to do that already.
Okay, we do have the motion on the floor. Any other last comment? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call. This is for waiving the 3 reading rule.
Megan Clark,
No.
Bob Cook,
no,
Stephen Kaufman,
Yes,
Holly Marick,
Yes.
Gary Meehan,
Yes,
Joyce Missnet.
Well, it's
Second
a
reading.
tie.
You have
It's
to
a
have-
tie. That's
no,
why
it's
it's
no.
no.
no,
No?
you needed, we needed 5.
Gotcha.
5 to waive 3 readings.
Gotcha.
Move to second.
Never mind.
All right, so Chief will be here next meeting to be able to answer some questions. Any old business? Hearing none, new business?
May 9th is the beautification committee at 7:30. Okay, we're gonna do the boulevard and the Knowlton Road entrance.
when is this, May 9th?
May 9th, okay, we're gonna do the beautification of Knowlton Road and the boulevard. 7:30, donuts will be provided, to bring gloves, shovels, wheelbarrows, hammers. Lunch will be provided. Volunteers are needed for like food stations. Feel free to bring a dish if you would like, or a side. Any questions, reach out to me, okay?
And also, we have the cleanup day coming, and that's, just a couple weeks away. On
May
the-
2nd.
May
May
2nd at
2nd.
8 a.m.
I've seen some postings about people have scrap and things like that. It's a perfect place to get rid of it.
Yes, it is.
I don't know how we can do it on this because it's nearly impossible, having worked there a few times. Is that there's a lot of stuff people are bringing in that's on the list saying we're not supposed to take it, but we're taking it anyhow. How do we screen
So a lot of that came,
construction debris?
yeah. A lot of that came up 2 years ago
Mhm.
when there were a lot of sofas and stuff
Trash
like that
at,
that came in.
clubhouse.
The typical stuff that Waste Management doesn't take under normal routes,
Yeah,
they do take for the cleanup days. But Mark, can you get a clear list from?
Yeah, the clear list is on the website in the calendar. They don't want any of the construction debris, any of that material.
So at that point, we'd have to turn it away.
well, it's been that way for the last several years. And
And we
I've
keep
done it
taking
every year since I've been on council. And every year we end up taking it. So my question is how do we screen that before it gets to where we're unloading it? No, we can't take this. Because it
How do you-
also
how
says
do
you're
you
not supposed to
screen the
take
paint?
electronics, which
How do
we
you
take a
screen
lot
the
of
paint when you
TVs
burn it?
and stuff like that.
How do you screen the paint when they burn?
We don't,
Yeah, you open it up and
You
see if
should
it's
be taking
wet or
paint.
not.
I know.
We all,
If-
we
you're
never
talking-
did in the past.
You're talking actual screening, not.
No,
verifying.
not taking
Not
it.
taking it.
I don't think, I mean, I've worked it a lot. I don't remember paint. I mean,
There's been a little bit, but it's always been, it had to be dry.
Yeah, that was fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So you put kitty litter in it or something.
coffee grounds.
The only way to screen it is, which I think we're beating a dead horse, but is if you see it when we're taking the materials, we let them know that we can't take it back with them out, which we did last year, I know when I was there. And then the only way to go further with it is if we have a guard that's at the entry before the turnoff down there. And if they have that material and they're trying to get rid of it, we send them out instead of coming in.
We used to do that.
So that's the
I
only
remember
real way
the
to
police
screen it
department did that
beforehand.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Back when they used to drop stuff off there instead of take stuff home with them.
Do you want to reach out to the association volunteer group to see if there's anybody that would be able to volunteer for that? I know our guys were looking at having the mini down there to unload the scrap. And then it'll be just stationed in one spot, not moving. So it'll have to be able to swivel to be able to take off the trailer and put into the,
Did you talk to them about their,
they typically bring that. I haven't talked to them about it. Mark is still over there, isn't he?
Yeah, he brought it last year.
Okay, so we'll check on that.
check
Yeah.
with leadership?
And then that way we can get the stuff off the ground and actually into that container instead of stacking it up like we have in the past. So,
Mark,
Yeah, Bob.
their backhoe is a lot better on that on that pavement over than our skid steer.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
Definitely.
they really don't want that skid steer.
Yeah, I know last year they used theirs
I
instead.
know,
Yeah, we're not looking at the streets here.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that would be the alternative if they didn't help.
right.
All right. Bills for review?
What is the electrician bill?
That was from last year. They forgot to send us the invoice.
The
So-
JDT one,
What's that?
JDT?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So that was for when the lights were out in the boulevard after the project. The electrician had to come out and rerun electricity to the light posts.
I see we have mileage reimbursements to the chief and Clay, and I don't have a problem with reimbursing mileage, but I don't see anything in the police report that says what they went, where they went.
They had training in
Training.
Columbus.
Well, it doesn't say that anywhere in his report. That's
Mhm.
what my question is.
I'll bring that up. to him.
I know in the past he has put that in. Do we need a motion to pay the bill?
Yes.
I move we pay the bills.
I'll second.
We don't need motion. Those have already been paid.
We'll make a motion to approve the bill for review.
I thought we determined last year we didn't need a motion to review and approve the bills. Okay,
Formality, right?
We have a motion and a second.
well, comment, then therefore they can't be paid until we approve them. Okay, you cannot pay a bill and then give us the information and we reject it.
It's you approving what's been paid, that by law.
And
It's
if we-
just acknowledging.
And if we don't approve it,
And he has to revoke all the bills until all the vendors.
That's why we've just taken them as a review.
okay.
Roll call?
Megan Clark?
Yeah.
Bob Cook?
Yes.
Stephen Coffin?
Yes.
Holly Marick?
Yes.
Gary Meehan?
Yes.
Joyce Minsky?
Yes.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
Executive session.
No executive session? Actually, yes, I'm sorry. Gotta read this. It's only a quick one. To consider the appointment.
You can't motion. Oh, the mayor.
Okay.
I'll move
Thank
that we, go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Yes.
Is that sufficient?
I have no idea what I have no idea what it's for.
I second it, yeah.
I just said to
No, it's
consider.
your business.
If there's a second, roll call.
Roll call?
Megan Clark?
Yes.
Bob Cook?
Yes.
Stephen Coffin?
Yes.
Holly Marick?
Yes.
Gary Meehan?
Yes.
Joyce Minsky?
Yes.
To include everybody up there.
To include the SAS.
Thank you.